death isn't always the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning. From slow walkers to fast, relentless hunters, zombies come in more forms than most people realize. And surviving them isn't just luck. It's knowing what you're up against. Because the difference between making it out alive and becoming one of them is thinner than you think. Join us tonight as we take a deep dive into zombies with the Veritas Project. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration, brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we're here with our gracious host and founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Wiki Bob Curtis.
Hello.
And I'm lead investigator, Investigator Todd Boyer. And happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah, happy Easter.
So, for the TikTok people that are watching, we actually went back to doing on Sunday mornings because Bob is off now. Because it was always kind of a little bit of a hassle doing Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
But it's easier for us. We get it in, we get it out of the way, then we get on with our day.
Right.
You know, it doesn't take up a nice Saturday evening now that Bob's off on Saturday evenings and him and Angie could find things to do and go out and have fun. So we're switching back to Sunday mornings for the TikTok people.
Yay.
So, Bob, you just showed me when I came over the house.
Yeah, the farmhouse.
Kitchen. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing, the transformation that just a little bit of paint can do.
So we are another step closer to moving the whole podcast over to the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Getting it over there. Makes my ride a little bit more. My ride, instead of being like 12 minutes, is going to be a half hour now. Going from my house to get over to do the podcast. So.
Yeah, it'll be worth it, though. I feel like the studio would be a better.
Yeah, be deeper. We'll be able to see. You guys will be able to see us better. We're getting a book. We'll actually have a real bookshelf instead of the linen library.
Yeah.
And Bob will get to display all his fancy schmancy books.
Right. There's some rare books.
And then we got a lot of little things from us to display. I mean, we've got some rocks some really cool rocks that we found, and then we've also got your custom logo that Angie got made for you. We'll be displaying that. And a few things that we've picked up along the way here and there through our adventures to be able to display behind it. Some older like paranormal equipment, stuff like that will all be on the back. It'll be a really nice background when we get finished with it. So So Bob said he wanted to do, what was the
Dover Demon.
The Dover Demon.
Yeah.
And I said, Bob, do you want to ruffle some feathers this morning? And I literally said it that way.
Right.
Since today is actually Easter, and Jesus rose from the grave on Easter, let's talk about zombies.
Zombies.
So we're going to ruffle some feathers this morning talking about zombies. So this is one of those topics that this is my Roman Empire. I like to talk about zombies.
Yeah.
I like to talk about the zombie apocalypse, the preparation, what I would do.
Oh, yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love to talk about that.
I often think about that. Like, I'll be driving past some place and I'll see it and be like, man, that place is an awesome zombie fortress right there.
Right, exactly. I do the same thing. I'm like, look, it's got fencing.
Right.
It's high up. The walls are this or
There's
that.
no windows
or whatever.
on the ground level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's very defensible in the zombie outbreak.
Right. And that's something we're going to get into, too, as we go along here. This is going to be, normally we're very structured here. We have topics. We write everything down. Tonight, it's going to be a free flow about zombies.
Right.
So let's start with the different types of zombies.
Right.
So, I mean, we've got your umbrella zombies, where it's a virus.
Yeah.
And the virus even brings them back, even if they're completely unalived.
Yeah.
You know, the virus can bring them back, you know.
Right. And then the T-virus in Resident Evil can, like, mutate the zombies, too. So you have, like, your liquor zombies that can, like, crawl on the ceiling, and then you have, like, your tank zombies, you know, that are bigger and take more damage. And then you have your regular shamble, like, the Night of Living Dead zombies just kind of wander around.
And that was the one I was going to bring up next, was the old classic movie Night of the Living Dead, where those are just the zombies. You know, they just groan and walk towards
They're just reanimated corpses. They can't really, they're not powerful. They can't really do anything, you know, extravagant. They're just people, that are they've been jump started, so they just kind of wander around and they want to eat. That's basically it.
Now, as far as like the different types of zombies, I can't remember which movie it was. It's the one that takes place in the mall. Which one is that?
Oh, that's Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Now
Is
there's
it
a
Day of the
scene.
Dawn of the Dead.
Maybe it's Dawn of the Dead. And
Could be Dawn of the Dead.
There's so many of the Dead movies, like they all.
I always
get
get those two confused.
But so anyway, there's a scene in that movie that really hits home. There's an obese woman, and she turns, and she runs at them at full sprint speed.
Right.
So everything about her physicality just goes out the window.
Yeah.
Like her musculature, everything. She just sprints at full speed, as heavy as she is. Someone at, living that is as big as that lady is would have trouble running at that speed.
Oh, right.
But the zombie, full sprint coming at you. So, what is that, rule number 1, cardio?
Yeah. Well, like you talk about the rage zombies, like the 28 days later zombies, like that one's always been foolish to me because you're like regular Joe, like run of the mill soccer mom type person. They get this virus and suddenly they're like Usain Bolt. You know what I mean? They're like running down cars and stuff. You're like,
yeah, you don't have the musculature
I don't know
for
about that,
so.
bro. I mean, you can get as angry as you want to. You're not going to be out sprinting cars and stuff. You know what I mean?
You're not Superman.
Nah.
You didn't become Superman, just Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so there's that. And we were talking about, with The Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us.
So the fungal zombies, which is actually a thing in the insect world. And that's where they got the idea for the show from.
Right.
Because there is a fungus out there that will take over ants and spiders and different insects and control them, and they move around. They control how they react.
Right. So it's like a spore that gets into their brain, and then it's kind of like meningitis, where it just takes over the chemistry of their brain, and then now they're like against their own will, like doing things.
Yeah, doing things that the fungus wants them to do, and that's crazy. And then if you actually look at fungus is very, very wild when it comes to the things it can do. So eventually it may possibly move over to the human brain.
Right.
I mean, I saw they did an experiment where they took and they put food at the key points of where the cities would be in Japan. And the fungus actually attached all the cities together in a more efficient travel pattern than the actual trains that run in Japan.
Okay.
So it actually built a train map, for the high-speed trains that was more efficient than the people actually designed it.
Right.
So fungus is wild, man. The different things that fungus can do. And so that could, in the future, be a possibility. I mean, that one's not a far stretch, honestly.
No.
That'd be the closest thing to, a zombie apocalypse, other than a viral, some kind of virus. But
and you would think about the spore or a mold or taking over a brain makes more sense than reanimating a dead person.
Yes.
Because once a person is dead, then jump starting them electrically is pretty much impossible.
Right.
So you would have to have some sort of thing that is like creating ATP, the andesine triphosphate, the part of your cells that actually makes the cells do things. So you would have to have something new introduced into the dead person that creates ATP to turn the cells back on and then work independent of the brain. So I don't see that as being a thing that could happen. But the spores and fungus like that makes more sense to me, because that can actually like take over the system that's already working and then turn you into a zombie, like a kind of where you're not your own brain type scenario. So yeah, I could see that. as far as like all in one things I can think of, like there's a video game called Dead Island
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that game.
where all of the zombies are represented in that game. You
Yes,
have
they
the
are.
sprinting zombies, you have shambling zombies, you have the sturdier tanky zombies, and that's a really good game if you ever wanted to play. I think it's in like Steam for like $10 or
Well,
something.
Investigator Robin and I have been playing 7 Days to Die.
Okay.
So that's another zombie survival,
Yeah.
and zombies are in the media, like hardcore movies and video
Oh
games,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like zombies are classic. In fact, I'm actually anxiously waiting for a game called Artem to come out.
Oh, I saw that.
That game, yeah, I showed it to you last
Yeah.
week. That game looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
So I can't wait for that to come out. Another zombie survival game, and this one is more like the Walking Dead type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's about going in and building up your base and your survival,
Right.
over time and stuff like
Environment type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, whereas it's not just and I
that. So
heard
just hordes of zombies coming
Yeah.
at you, like Back
Like,
for Blood or anything. Something
what
like
is that one? Where there's like four dudes and it's just like zombie hordes over and
Back
over.
for Blood.
No, it's
I know there's that one.
I can't think of what it's called now. But back in the day, I used to play it all the time, and it got kind of tedious. Where you're just like, where are all these people coming from? You
Are
know,
you talking about the one where they do the different numbers of the game as a hand and the
Yeah.
magic fingers? What? I
Right.
can't think of the name of that game. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
it
So-
was. My brain keeps wanting to say The Last of Us, but it's not.
No, it's not.
But yeah, that one that was fantastic. But it gets old after a while because it's one of those things like where the system is trying to overwhelm you,
Yeah.
and then it deviates from reality at a certain point. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because you're like, I'm better than you.
Right.
You need to accept it, right? There's like the hallway is literally choked with zombie
Oh, yeah.
corpses.
Yeah.
You're like,
What was the more fun one back in the day where you're a reporter and you're in taking pictures and it's a mall full of zombies and then there's bad guys and you can like the zombies are aggressive but not so aggressive that you can't have fun with them.
oh,
Like you stick buckets on their heads
Oh.
and do all that kind of
what
stuff.
is that one? I know what you're talking about now. Yeah,
That's
because
sad. We're getting so old we forget the names of all these games.
that one you can
You know.
craft like fun weapons.
Yeah,
Like
like
you-
a foam sword and
Yeah. I
squirt
had
guns and stuff and
I had a broomstick with two chainsaws on the end of it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly that game. That is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game. So let's go. Now that we've kind of discussed the different types of zombies, let's go to survival.
Yeah,
So I have a go bag,
right.
and I try to take it everywhere with me. I can't always due to legal reasons, but
Right.
but it's got my pew pew in there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now, as far as zombie survival, right? 9mm is plentiful,
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
but I think the way to go in zombie survival is actually 22 long rifle
Yeah,
because it's got enough power to penetrate. Right, if you're going for the dome shot, right?
Mhm.
So you've got enough power to penetrate and scramble the eggs up there, right? But it's not going to punch through,
right.
and it's quiet enough that it could be suppressed pretty easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and
Plus the rounds are this big, so
That's
you
what
can
I was
carry
gonna
a
say.
bajillion of them.
a brick of 100 rounds of 22 only weighs like maybe 6 ounces.
Right.
Maybe. So you could carry thousands of rounds on you. Whereas that's the thing about people who've actually been in the military versus people who watch a lot of action movies. Like your loadout for like an actual infantryman is only like maybe 1,000 rounds.
Right.
Like you're like 100% loadout, but your actual patrol loadout might only be like 90.
Yeah,
You know what I
because you
mean?
figure you've got. Actually, you're probably carrying 4 30-round mags, 4 to
Yeah.
6 30-round mags. So maybe 240 rounds total.
Right.
Or 180 rounds total. I mean,
Yeah. You're not carrying 2,000 rounds with you
right.
everywhere
But
you go.
If you have 22,
Right.
we used to
You
be able to
could.
buy a bucket of 1,000 rounds, and the bucket was this big.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Yeah, easily. And then, like, like I say, it's a rimfire.
Hmm.
So you could always reload it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not that big a deal.
Plus, you could buy in bulk.
Yeah, you could always.
So
I mean, that every sporting goods store has, a couple thousand rounds of 22 just laying around.
right.
So
That's the easy. That's
Yeah.
the quick one there. Plus a lot of those 22 like long rifles themselves, you could break them down.
right.
You fold them up. A lot of them are easy to put a sight on, things like that. So zombie apocalypse, 22 is the way to go.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Maybe a 9mm pistol.
Right.
If you need a little extra something. But as far as like your zombie tapper, I'd go 22 caliber, 22 long rifle all day long.
Yeah.
Because then you can get them in sporting rifle configurations too. So they're very ergonomic, easy to carry, that kind of thing. I think that would, be your go-to right there.
Yeah, and the longer barrel is going to give you more velocity
Mm-hmm.
and more range, so you could have intermediate. That could be like your intermediate carbine, type scenario where you're not necessarily clearing the house with it, but you could pop them out in the street.
Well, you can do it. Well, I know they come in like an M4 configuration.
Yeah, I have one.
So yeah, I think you can clear a house with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easy.
So food.
Yeah.
I mean, learn to hunt.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to need your larger calibers to hunt.
Right.
Snare rabbits, that kind of thing. But 22 would be good for squirrels, rabbits.
Yeah.
That kind of thing
Birds,
too. So birds, yeah.
Turkeys and stuff like that.
So yeah, so that's another thing that we talked about that we both do driving along, is it defensible?
Right.
So fence, no windows on the lower floors,
Access
off
to the roof.
beaten path.
Yeah.
Escape route, safe way to get out if you get surrounded, things like that. What I look at is like quarries, old quarries, because there's a lot of times where the main part of the quarry you got to go up a road, so you might only have one way in or one way out as far as main travel, but there's a lot of vent shafts and things like that that you could easily build up, and they usually have ladders and things like that. So that's another way out. What we got?
Yeah, I would think if you could, at the very least, knowing where a local quarry is would be a good thing to have in your back pocket, because you could always trick a horde of zombies into walking down the ramp forever,
right?
Until they get to the bottom. And a lot of things in like media, like you think about like the Walking Dead TV show, like that. There's so much foolishness that goes on in those shows, for the sake of drama.
Right.
That in an actual like zombie situation you would never ever do.
Here's something that I thought of that just okay. So why not as a perimeter around your base, right? Go out and sharpen sticks and put them in the ground, and they only need to be a foot sticking out of the ground at most, right?
Right.
Make a ring of like 5 feet wide ring of sticks with sticks a foot apart. And then on the outside of that ring, 4 feet outside that ring, rope this high off the ground.
Yeah.
And as the zombies come shambling up, they get caught in the rope, fall over, spike to the head.
Right.
Like it's instant zombie neutralization.
Yeah.
Well,
and you think even something as simple as a sawhorse becomes an immovable object for a zombie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're not problem solving.
Right.
They're gonna walk into a sawhorse and turn around and walk back. You know what I mean?
Well, that is if you get the shambling Walking Dead type of zombies.
Right.
If you get the 7 days to die jumping or
Well, and that's another easy solution, right? Because if you have the sprinting zombies, the ones that are just like charging at you, then all you need to do is make a network of
just trip them
thin
up.
steel cable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're just pop their own little heads off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
or just trip them up. I mean, that's the big thing. Just trip them up.
Yeah.
Then the zombies got to get up or crawl, and then you got the advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and one thing that they never talked about in The Walking Dead ever in any of the seasons is that there's winter.
Yeah.
So you have zombies who are, maybe they died in the summertime. They got shorts and a t-shirt on. and then here it is, -10
They're not generating heat.
outside, right? So they're basically just frozen solid. You could just go out in the cold and just shove them over, into a big pile. Like, what difference does it make? You know what I mean? They're froze solid after the first night. Then you just have pretty much society turns back on in the wintertime.
Right.
If they come out of a building or whatever, then you just trick them into coming outside.
And something that you rarely see in these zombie movies, armor.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need thick armor.
No.
Like leather.
Yeah, just a leather jacket.
Leather armor.
With a collar on it.
Yeah. I mean, they're not biting through that leather. I don't care. Your bite force has got to be, if it's real leather, not pleather.
Right.
Like, I see, I did see one time in one of the shows or one of the movies, the welder protective arm pieces that kind of go over your shoulders. They go down your arms.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, that is genius.
Right.
Or I've seen people like magazines wrapped around, anything that they can't bite through.
Right. People bite through. Like, people don't have canines or anything, you know what I mean?
It's more of a crushing force.
Yeah.
So
you would think, like, you see like motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
Like one of those outfits.
Motorcycle leathers. It'd be hot,
that'd be
but,
perfect.
It'd be
you
hot.
Got your helmet. They can't bite through or scratch your eyes. They got your neck protected by the thing on the motorcycle, gloves with pads on them and everything. Like, you're pretty much invincible. You're Superman now in the zombie apocalypse. You're dressed like a motorcycle guy.
Right.
You're like, oh, they're going to gnaw on your arm. Like, get away from me, loser. I ain't got time for you. I'm looting.
That's one of the things too that I would love to do, because I'm an explorer by heart. And I'm curious by heart.
Right.
You could take me and eliminate everybody else on the planet. I would enjoy the rest of my life just going through people's houses to see what they have.
Right.
What kind of people are these people? What kind of cool things do they have?
Yeah.
What kind of weird things do they have hidden under the bed?
Yeah. Like, just strange stuff they keep in the back of their closet.
Yeah, just go through and loot people's houses. And it's funny because in these zombie apocalypse movies, nobody has anything in their house useful.
No.
Like, really? It was a whole lived-in house.
Right.
They have as much useful things as I have useful things.
Yeah.
It's always funny when you go down that rabbit hole and watch the games or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what'd you find out? Found one can of tuna. Like, come on now. The dude had canned goods. Like, give me a break.
Right.
Like, if you think about it, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'd go to Walmart or I'd go to this place. You know what? Everybody else and their mom.
That's the first thing everybody thinks
there.
of, right?
Like,
I tell you, this is my personal secret, so I'm letting you guys in on it. The best place to go to loot when society collapses is your local country club. The country club has a really nice kitchen that's stocked up with all manner of food, and it has zero defense. Everybody's going to be at CVS Pharmacy fighting over the last bottle of aspirin.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be at Walmart, and it's going to be a battle royale. At the country club, you have Reginald Pennyworth III sitting in his loafers going, are you a member here? Like, I am a member. Here's my card. And now I got a whole truck full of canned food that I got with zero effort. Zero effort.
That's true. That is very true. And make sure you go to the more high-end country clubs.
Yeah.
Because they're not out there like,
Yeah, those people have
things.
no defense whatsoever. They are the softest, squishiest humans to have ever existed, are country club people. You could walk in there and just loot that entire place. You could loot it while they're there. Like you know what I mean?
Do?
Right, yeah. I'm on the phone with the police right now. Yeah, let me know how that works for you.
Well, what cracks me up is like people are like, well, shouldn't you stockpile ammo and blah, 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 blah. I've got enough ammo to get more ammo, trust me.
Right.
Joe Snuffy, who's never fired more than 100 rounds in his life.
Yeah.
I've got enough ammo to get more ammo. So, always fun.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Is there anything else that, let's see.
As far as like resources
or water's going to be your big one.
Yeah.
Rain catchers, tarps, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Moisture catchers.
Filter. All you really
charcoal
need.
Filters.
Yeah, I'd say charcoal is like your easiest thing to filter
everything out.
Yeah.
So do it that way. Go that route. Boiling. That's the one thing. I think water is going to be the biggest problem for a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Until you can get enough resources to build a well,
Yeah.
you can make a hammer well pretty easily. Hammer it down, and then once you have water and you have enough safety, then you're pretty much set for the zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
Really, it's only going to be dangerous for like maybe the first year.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get established, I mean, you can pretty much keep going.
Right.
Like you said, winter would be good, but then like I would try to find something underground.
Yeah.
Because then that stays the same temperature all year, so then you don't have to, deal with stuff. Like I said, I've always said the caves at Valmeyer would be a good place.
Yeah. If there's more than one way out of there.
There is. There's okay, so on the sides of the hill, you could see the drill holes where they punch through the walls, right? But those are usually steep or gravelly or just vertical,
Right.
like up on the side. So we could get out, but the zombies couldn't get up in.
Yeah.
But you'd still want to barricade it a little bit to make sure, But yeah, there's tons of places you get out there, and they're massive, and they have food storage in there because now they're using it as warehouses.
Yeah.
Plus, you have your venting and all that kind of stuff. So, some place like that would be a great place. Plus, it's big enough that you could have a large community in there, honestly. So,
yeah,
and it's rural enough that there shouldn't be a lot of zombies.
Yeah. Right.
So that's another thing. You want to go rural. You want to make the trip in. Quiet car. You don't want something loud. You don't want this big F-350 down the road. You're going to draw every zombie.
6 miles to the gallon in the
You're
zombie
draw
apocalypse.
Every zombie. You want like a Camry or something.
Yeah, right.
Something that gets good gas mileage, got a little bit of room in it. Zombie apocalypse, man. You got to think ahead.
As far as like a looting vehicle, I would think a Prius would be fantastic.
Oh yeah,
because you can cruise around at low speed without the engine on,
right?
So that it's
hybrid,
perfectly stealth mode while you're doing like under 20 miles an hour, and then the engine starts up just to charge.
The
battery at that stage. So you could, even though a Prius is kind of a dorky vehicle, and like in the zombie apocalypse, that's a pretty stealthy, sneaking around the city type vehicle.
Plus, you could put a small trailer on it, like a very small trailer, just something to get it a little more, like a tow rack. You know how the people have their luggage on the back, just enough to give you a little more space. You don't want to overload that thing too much, but yeah, that'd be a smart car.
Yeah.
Or not for short runs, for small runs, out to the zombie zone.
Yeah, a little 3-cylinder gets like 70 miles to the gallon.
Right?
Like something like that.
Got to think ahead, guys. Moped for patrols.
Yeah. Well, I always said that like a motorcycle would be fantastic, but it would have to be like one of those adventure bikes.
Yeah.
That has like the thing on it, so that way, like if you cruise your bike, you're out of luck because if you run into a horde of zombies, they'll knock you off in no time. But like an adventure bike has like protection for your knees built into it, so you can just
get on through them. But the bike, and the newer ones, the ones that people say, "Oh, that sounds like a sewing machine," but that's going to be quiet. That's going to
not going to echo through the whole building, through the whole neighborhood. Yeah.
Yep. Park away from your destination.
And that's another thing I never saw in any zombie movie, but one of my go-to things would be like a obnoxious boombox.
Yes. Draw zombies away.
Yeah. So you if you're going to loot this building and there's a lot of zombies in that area, then you go like 2 blocks over and set down a boombox in the street and then just go out, wait like 5 minutes, and now the streets are empty where you want to go. They're all shambling around listening to techno in the
Well, here's the thing too, like I know this isn't like a super common thing, but you can find it is fuse cord.
Yeah.
Right? So you could get a long fuse cord, slow burning fuse cord, make your own things that go boom. Right? By simply wrapping black powder with duct tape, like make a bowl and then wrap it, put a long fuse on it, light it, chuck it, go the other direction. That loud boom's going to bring every zombie in the area to where that boom was.
Right.
Hopefully by that time you're long gone over here looting all this over here.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you get distractions.
Things like that. Even non-zombies. You know what I mean? Like if you have like the sounds of somebody screaming for help, put that on a
Right.
tape, and then leave it somewhere away from
I'm
where
gonna
you're
go
going.
find every wind-up alarm clock I could find.
Right.
And then just set it down, right? Set the alarm on it, set it down. When you hear it going off in the distance, okay, all the zombies are going that way. I'm going to go in here and loot.
Yeah.
And if you lose a wind-up alarm clock,
Yeah, what are you out?
Yeah.
Like $10 maybe.
well, I mean,
You
not even
looted it,
$10.
so it's
You
not
looted it from
yeah.
somebody else. So, or any
Yeah.
kind of little travel alarm clock like that
Yeah.
would be fantastic, especially if it has solar or something on it, because you don't want to waste your batteries, because you'd be giving up a battery every time you did it.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to go back to that area. It'd be
Yeah,
like
it'd be infested.
oversaturated
Right.
with zombies. The rabbit holes our brains go down.
Yeah.
Surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. You got to start collecting Furbies or something like that. That's, super annoying little toys. And
Right.
you could just turn on a Furby and leave it on the hood of a car somewhere and just bolt out of that area. And it'll just sit there talking to itself, attracting every zombie
Right.
in the whole neighborhood.
Right. Even fishing line would be a good thing, because then you could take and like put a tin can on it
Yeah.
or a noisemaker and then loop it over something and stand 50 yards away and make the noise.
Right.
Jerk on the line, make the noise, and then you could go the other way while the zombies are heading to whatever noise you just made.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one, too.
And then fishing line's easy to find everywhere.
Yeah. String, twine, anything really.
Yep. If it's a windy day, you could just hang it up there and let it
Yeah.
click away or whatever.
But wind chimes, like gather up a whole bunch of annoying wind chimes and put them in an area.
You know what? A candle and some twine, you could have it holding something up. Put the twine partway down the candle, or higher than the candle. You need to do the old trick of the candle burns up into the twine and burns the string, and the string snaps and it all falls down.
Right.
Or you could do like to where when the candle, like put the candle sideways and put the string across it here, and as the candle burns down,
Right.
it gets to the twine, burns the twine.
Yeah, like
so
a little
that'd be
timer.
an easy one. Yeah, it'd be a remote timer. I've also seen, in fact, there was a World War II movie where the guy used a cigarette as as a fuse.
Yeah.
He put it inside of a book of matches and fold the book of matches over,
Right.
light the cigarette. When the cigarette gets down to the matches finally go off. It's about a 10-minute timer.
Right.
So there you go, guys. Zombie apocalypse. We got you covered. Come see us.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. As far as the actual zombies, I don't see much science in that.
No.
Like there's like the serpent and the rainbow type thing where it's like a poison that makes a person look like they're dead. A long enough time for them to be buried, and then they come back to life, and then now that because of that they've got brain damage and they're not, with it. But that's medically accurate as far as like zombies go. But as far as like the Walking Dead type, I got bit by a zombie and turned into a zombie type thing, and I don't see that as being a thing.
Someone in the comments said use sparklers
Sparklers, right?
as a fuse. Or as a something that goes boom. Sparklers, wrap them in electrical tape.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. Same difference. Whichever you can find.
Right.
Any kind of powder that's ignitable. So, man, we went down a whole rabbit hole. We didn't read a single thing. This is
Right.
all off the top of our brains.
Yeah.
So,
How to survive the zombie
how
apocalypse.
to survive the zombie apocalypse. So, and the zombies. I think, in my opinion, the best bet of a zombie apocalypse happens, I think, is The Last of Us. I think fungal
Yeah.
is going. If it's going to happen, it's going to be that way.
Right.
Or because reanimation, like you said, is just out the window.
Yeah,
Forget
it's not
that.
gonna happen.
That's not going to happen. But we know that there's a fungus out there that does control insects, and the possibility of it getting over to us is there.
Right. It's a possibility that could happen.
Because I've seen people have fungus removed from inside their nose.
Yeah.
Like you can get an actual fungus mushroom growing in your nose. I've seen removals of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think for zombies, fungus is going to be what's going to happen.
Yeah, it seems more of a
More
workable-
plausible,
Yeah.
than anything else. Man, I was so into it. Normally I'm drinking the whole time. I was so into it today that I didn't even take a drink. And this gives me the perfect opportunity
Coffee break.
to remind you guys about our partnership with Dubby over here. So, get 10% off. Go to Dubby, get 10% off. Use the code Whole Truth, all one word.
Yep.
There. I'm actually drinking the tiger's blood, and I've got some creatine in here, and I actually made a smoothie with it this morning. Put some berries in it.
Nice.
So I got caffeine and smoothie this morning.
Rock and roll. It's good stuff.
All in one. It is.
And I'm not an energy drink person, but I drink the Dubby. I actually like it.
So it is absolutely good stuff. So also, if you guys want to chit chat with us, check us out on Patreon.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
If you're a Patreon member this week, you got a code for 40% off
Yep.
of the Dubby. So
There you go.
how about that?
So the Patreon members at the 0 level, you get your name immortalized on the back of the podcast. I'm going to move my mic here so I can grab these. And if you're at the $5 Patreon level, you get a postcard. You get a postcard from Bob and us here at the Veritas Project. Angie makes them. Bob and I sign them. This one's great this week. This one is about or this month. It's about our podcast about Our Pandas Real.
Yeah.
So, and I'll show that to the TikTok peoples too. So this one will be out to those people who are at the $5 level. And then you can say, hey, I knew these guys before they became famous.
Right.
Actually, I see Bob's wearing some of the merch.
Yeah, I got my
Get your merch at
Veritas
Printify.
hoodie.
We have hoodies, T-shirts, all that good stuff on Printify. Check all that stuff out.
And one of the T-shirts you can buy will be the image from the postcard of the month.
So the postcard of the month becomes a T-shirt of the month.
Yeah.
So check us out on the Book of Faces. Instagram, all the other social media places.
We're on all the stuff.
We're on all the stuff. We need to get a link tree on your
It's all
TikTok.
right.
Oh, do you have a link tree
Yeah.
to everything on TikTok? Right on. So it is all out there. Check it all out, guys. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, the meet and greet has been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Trying to find a place has been rough, to say the least. Normally we have no trouble booking stuff out this time of year,
Yeah.
but for some reason this year everybody's booking everything up fast.
Yeah.
So
It's weird.
we're still working on it. We are going to have a place for the meet and greet. We will make it happen.
Yeah.
So we're shooting for the first Saturday in August for the meet and greet. We'll keep everybody posted on that. So somewhere here in St. Louis area, guys come into town and we do an overnight thing. We usually go get tattoos on the next day. So we'll see. We'll see how that
Tattoos
goes.
or it didn't happen.
Yep. So yeah, this is let's see. My tattoos are both on my forearms are both from, I have my ghost here, and then I have my Book of Oberon stuff here.
Yeah.
So, and then Bob's got his
Yeah, I got
tattoo. Angie's
my
got
ghost,
her tattoo.
Ghost.
We all have ghost tattoos.
I got paint on me from the kitchen.
But yep. So we'll
Actually,
make
I
that
have
happen.
So I have the meet and greet shirt on today.
Oh, do you? Oh, you got the meet and greet shirt on. There you go.
So how about that? Free advertising.
Bob's all Veritas Project
Right.
today. All you need is your green hat over there, and you're good to go.
Represent.
So let's see. Make sure you like, comment, and share. Help put us out there. We're growing, trying to get bigger. Forget anything? Took Patreon, Discord, join the Discord group, Book of Faces, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. Join it up.
Join all of it. Follow us all. We'll try to keep it up. Somebody asked me about Spotify the other day.
Oh, I actually got an email from Spotify yesterday.
Oh yeah.
They want me to upload more stuff.
Okay.
They're going to deactivate
Oops.
the channel.
Well, I guess we got to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you got to do that because you have it all on the hard drive here. So.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I don't actually have any of it on a hard drive. I have to download it from YouTube and then recode it to put it onto Spotify.
Well, you're only putting the voice, the audio.
No,
right?
it's the video and
Oh,
everything.
it's the whole everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole show's on there.
There you go. Well, guys, thank you for joining us again on the deep dive into zombies, the zombie apocalypse, the survival of the zombie apocalypse.
There you
we
go.
kind of touched on everything this week.
Yeah.
Everything zombie.
If you have a better idea or something that you like more, then put that in the comments. We'll get the comments going about different ideas for surviving the zombie apocalypse.
There you go. That's
Apoco tips for the apocalypse.
there you go. That's fantastic. So, once again, thank you guys for joining us on the Zombie and Zombie Apocalypse podcast. We appreciate you guys showing up on the TikToks, and we appreciate you guys watching on YouTube. And on behalf of Bob, Angie, Robin, and myself, thank you again for your support. And remember, guys,
Stay curious.
and find the truth. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Yay.